I grew up in Edmonton, Alberta, on the mouth of the tar sands. My father was actually a trucker for the oil companies. In 2014, the Alberta oil crashed. It went down to $16 a barrel, whereas years before it was selling at about $120 per barrel. So a lot of my neighbors, friends, my dad, of course, lost their jobs in the industry. I think it was like a big reckoning moment for a lot of Albertans, and myself as well, because we grew up with it and then kind of learning all of a sudden that maybe it's something that we need to step away from. So I moved to New Brunswick to start university at Mount Allison University. I started organizing. I got involved with the students' movement. So I was part of the Students' Union, and I was part of the divestment campaign in my second year. In Canada, there hasn't been any post-secondary institution that's divested from fossil fuels. Divestment, of course, is a campaign mostly started by students and universities and pressuring our institutions for change. It has always been about challenging the social licenses that these corporations have in our everyday life and taking away their social credibility. The hypocrisy of having these institutions profit off of these industries was so jarring to me that it was work that I couldn't pull myself away from.
People gonna rise like the water, gonna calm this crazy.
Climate 101 was a protest against the Kinder Morgan pipeline expansion. So folks from divestment went down to Parliament Hill and we crossed police lines. So I was arrested alongside 98 other young people. And after I came back from that arrest, there were a lot of conversations on campus about how effective or how appropriate my behavior was. So I was impeached as the vice chair of the New Brunswick Student Association, and I also resigned from my position as vice president of the Students' Union. After my resignation, I felt like there was so much momentum with the work that I had just done that I just had to keep going with it.
So there are dozens of students camped outside of your office, and we refused to leave until we talked to the president.
So we held a protest at the president's office in the middle of winter, and we were out there for 3 days. All 3 of those days, it was a major snowstorm. We had 2 demands, and the first demand was that they divest from the top 200 publicly funded fossil fuel companies. And the second demand was that they hold some sort of town hall meeting to have a conversation on campus about what divestment would look like.
I believe that we have very good institutions here.
2 members of divestment were given a meeting with the president and his vice presidents. After an hour-long meeting, we felt that conversation wasn't going anywhere. And that's when organizers with divestment decided to kind of lay down and made the president walk over these bodies as they were talking to him.
This is what bureaucracy looks like.
I think Tina brings a sense of fearlessness into organizing and collaborating. She's so willing to speak up to authority when a lot of people may not be comfortable with that. She doesn't back down.
The divestment campaign is ongoing, and they're going to keep fighting to divest this institution from the fossil fuel industry, and we'll be sure to keep going until at least one institution in Canada divests, and hopefully that'll be us.